Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B, and we are here to tell you about some amazing African American individuals who are from the state of West Virginia. And so we're going to talk about people who are historically from the Mountain State or even contemporary folks who are still alive and representing our state well today. I'm going to begin by talking about Carter Woodson, and he is the father of African American history. Not only is he going to establish Black History Week in 1926, but he's also going to push for Black History Month. And in 1976, all 50 states will celebrate Black History Month. But if we hit the rewind button and go back and talk a little bit about Carter Woodson's early life, he was born to formerly enslaved parents. He came to West Virginia because there were opportunities in the coal fields to work in the railroad industry and to be in the coal industry as well. Those were industries that paid the same wages to African Americans as well as white people. But he sees that as a means to an end. He is going to work to raise money to get an education. He goes to Huntington, West Virginia, gets a high school diploma, then goes off to college at Berea College to get his degree in education, and then he comes back to West Virginia to teach. What's amazing about Carter Woodson is he's going to be the only African American born of enslaved parents to earn a PhD ever. And so he will get his PhD at Harvard, and he will want to tell the stories of African Americans. He will start the Journal for Negro History, which is now the Journal for African American History, and his Institute for African American History is still in existence today as well. So Carter Woodson is the bomb. And so I hope you enjoy hearing about all the rest of the people that my students are going to tell you about. We had a great time learning and researching about these people, and we know that this is just the surface of all the amazing African Americans who have given their lives and given, everything that they have on behalf of the Mountain State. So stay tuned and learn a little bit more about some of the famous African Americans from West Virginia.
Mildred Mitchell Baitman was the first African-American woman to receive a high-ranking position in the state government of West Virginia. To begin her story, she was born in the state of Georgia in 1922. Despite the birthplace, her main successes took place in the state of West Virginia, beginning in the year 1947, when she was hired as a staff physician at Lincoln State Hospital in West Columbia, West Virginia. In 1962, she became the overall director of the West Virginia Department of Mental Health. Starting at a young age, she was inspired to make an impact in the mental health field. Many discouraged her efforts, but she proved them wrong by her attendance at colleges such as Barber Scotia College in Concord, North Carolina, Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Women's Medical College of Pennsylvania after years of working at Lincoln State Hospital. She left a work position in Kansas until she returned to Lincoln State Hospital in 1955 to work as the hospital's clinical director.
Over her time in West Virginia's mental health department, she made her mark by taking on positions such as vice president of the American Psychiatric Association and later serving as one of the 4 physicians on the President's Commission on Mental Health. One of the most important things she did in her time in West Virginia was her development of a program that had the goal of giving hope to mentally disabled patients who were labeled untreatable. Her efforts in the Great Mountain State were honored by naming her the Mildred Mitchell Baitman Psychiatric Hospital in Huntington, West Virginia, after this remarkable West Virginia trailblazer. To complete this astonishing story, we call the life of Mildred Mitchell Baitman. We acknowledge that many challenges she went through her career because of both her race and gender. None of this stopped her from working a fantastic and successful career in the psychiatric community until she retired at the age of 89 and lived the final years of her life in Charleston, West Virginia, until her devastating death due to illness in January 25, 2012. Henry Louis Gates Sr. and Pauline Augustus Coleman Gates, unaware at the time but now known to be the parents to a man in West Virginia, claims to be the pride as one of the top scholars in the nation. This man is none other than that of Henry Louis Gates Jr. Born in a county located in the eastern panhandle known as Mineral County, Henry Gates attended a high school none other than Piedmont High School. This was a statement mark for West Virginia, as his attendance here would be one of the first African American students to attend the public high school Piedmont since the beginning of the Brown v. Board case. During his time there, he received very high marks and also used his intelligence to join a group known as the Fearsome Four, who used their knowledge and intelligence to pressure places to integrate. Gates, being the intelligent man he was, he furthered his education at Potomac State Hospital or College in Kaiser, West Virginia, then went on to study at Yale University and then later at Cambridge University, where he received his doctorate's degree. In 1972, he helped J. Rockefeller in his campaign against Governor Arch Moore. This campaign was unsuccessful, but did help him lead to his career in Times Magazine in London. He later returned to Yale and Cornell University, where he spent his time teaching Black students studies and English. He used his knowledge of Black studies to write his book, 1898, The Signifying Monkey, towards the theory of Afro-American literature criticism. The publication gave him recognition as one of the top scholars in African American history. Upon this recognition, he was named the chair of Harvard University Department of African American Studies. After his success in the education system, he went back to his love for writing. He wrote the book Colored People, where he publicized the truths of what youth was like for African American children in Mineral County, West Virginia. This book was award-winning and gained him respect of many other authors who later came to him for help editing their works. Some of these authors were Alice Paul, Langston Hughes, Toni Morrison, Richard White, and Gloria Naylor. Still alive at the age of 73, Henry Louis Gates continues his work at Harvard University as he continues his successful career he began in the great wonderful state of West Virginia.
Steve Harvey was born on January 17, 1957 in Welch, West Virginia, which is located in present-day McDowell County. He and his family would later move to Cleveland, Ohio, where he would graduate from Glenville High School in 1974. He would attend college at Kent State University and West Virginia University, but he would ultimately flunk out of college and be left dirt poor with nowhere to live. Steve Harvey would be homeless for 3 years. He was working in insurance and any other work he could find when he won an amateur night contest at a local comedy club. He would try and devote himself to stand-up comedy after winning that. He would play in any club that would book him, spending these years mainly on the road. With relentless work, he would work his way up to become a headliner in some well-known comedy clubs in big cities. He would appear on a few TV shows in the early 1990s, one being HBO's Def Comedy Jam.
He would start to explode in the comedy world in the 1990s and early 2000s, where he became the host of a TV show called It's Showtime at the Apollo, and would develop a TV comedy called Me and the Boys. Steve Harvey would make a second TV series called The Steve Harvey Show. His biggest thing was when he started hosting the show Family Feud, which he still hosts to this day. He still is in multiple other shows and spin-offs. Overall, Steve Harvey is the perfect representation of coming from nothing to having everything, all because of hard work and the ability to never give up. Steve Harvey and his family currently reside in the mansion located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Leon H. Sullivan lived from 1922 to 2001 and was a prominent African-American minister, civil rights leader, and advocate for economic empowerment. Sullivan was born in Charleston, West Virginia. Sullivan dedicated his life to fighting for racial equality and justice. He played a significant role in the civil rights movement, working alongside leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. Sullivan's impact extended beyond his work in the church and civil rights activism. He gained recognition for formulating the Sullivan's Principles, a set of guidelines for companies operating in South Africa during the apartheid era. These principles emphasized corporate responsibility and were instrumental in the fight against racial discrimination.
In addition to his advocacy work, Sullivan founded the Opportunities Industrialization Centers, or the OIC, in 1964. The OIC aimed to provide job training and educational opportunities to marginalized communities, focusing on empowering individuals through education and economic independence. Throughout his life, Leon Sullivan received numerous awards and accolades for his contributions to civil rights, economic empowerment, and corporate ethics. His legacy endures through the lasting impact of the Sullivan Principles and the ongoing work of organization inspired by his vision for a more just and equitable society.
William Bill Withers was an African-American singer-songwriter who was born on July 4, 1948 in Slab Fork, West Virginia. At 17, Withers enlisted in the Navy, which was his ticket out of West Virginia. Withers served for 9 years and during this time found his passion for music and singing. He left the Navy in 1965 and moved to Los Angeles, California.
This is where his music career began. His debut song was titled 3 Nights and a Morning in 1976. This song gained little to no traction. His first hit was Ain't No Sunshine. Withers is known for his smooth vocals and soul arrangements. In 2007, Withers was inducted into the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, and in 2015 was inducted into the Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame.
Withers won a Grammy Award for Best R&B Song in 1972, 1982, and 1988. The 3 songs that won these awards were Lean on Me, Just the Two of Us, and Ain't No Sunshine. Withers' music career came to an end in 1985 after clashing with executives at Columbia Records.
Withers touched the world with his musical talent. He was a natural-born entertainer and performer. Unfortunately, in March of 2020, Bill Withers passed away at the age of 81 in Los Angeles, California. His family hopes that his music offers comfort and entertainment to those who adored him.
Randy Moss was born in Rayne, West Virginia on February 13, 1977. He would attend DuPont High School, which is now defunct. At DuPont, he would make the All-State team in basketball and football, as well as being named the West Virginia State Player of the Year in 1999 in football. Moss would earn offers to schools like Notre Dame and Florida State, but he would lose the offers due to a fight in school and failing probation in high school. Moss would then choose to attend Marshall University for 2 seasons, where he would be named first-team All-American in both years. While playing at Marshall, he would break almost every school and conference record, and he would also join the track team and win the conference championship and break 4 school records in track.
In college, Moss would be regarded as one of the best receivers and a first-round pick for the Minnesota Vikings in the 1998 NFL Draft. Moss would be named Rookie of the Year in 1998 season, breaking many records in the process. Moss would make 3 Pro Bowls in his first 2 years in the league. He would also lead the league in touchdowns in multiple seasons. In 2000, Moss would sign his $75 million deal contract extension, which would set the record for the highest non-paid quarterback. Moss would then play for many other teams such as Raiders, Patriots, Titans, and 49ers.
Moss would retire in 2012 after the 2012 season after having a very successful career as many would regard him as a top 3 wide receiver of all time. Moss would finish his career with 982 receptions, 15,292 yards, and 156 touchdowns. When he retired, he was 3rd all-time in receiving yards and 4th all-time in touchdowns.
After retiring, Moss would work for ESPN and become an analyst. He would make appearances on Sunday NFL Countdown and Monday NFL Countdown. Moss is still on Sunday NFL Countdown, but left Monday NFL Countdown in 2022. Moss would and still donates to schools and charities in his home state of West Virginia. On August 4, 2018, Moss would be inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. On May 5, 2019, Moss would be inducted into the West Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. In December 2019, he would be named the NFL Top 100 All-Time. In January 7, 2024, Moss would be elected into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Booker Teleferro Washington was born on April 5, 1856 in Halesford, Virginia. Shortly after, at just 9 years old, his family moved to Malden, West Virginia. It was here that Booker was raised and got his education in a one-room segregated school. When he got older, he supported his family through working manual labor jobs like salt packing. These jobs, especially with financial issues of West Virginia, gave him his famous resilience and points on economic self-sufficiency.
In 1871 through 1872, at 16 years old, he ventured out in search of further education, enrolling at Hampton Agricultural Institute in Hampton, Virginia. Graduating with honors in 1875, he returned to West Virginia as a teacher. Then, in 1881, he began the latter chapter of his life, founding the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. The Tuskegee Institute, now university, was one of the first institutions of higher learning for African Americans, and even now functions as a top HBCU, historically black colleges and university. in the nation. Tuskegee, being so successful, established his reputation and led him to the sort of spokesperson for African American people, helping him influence the foundation of more black colleges like West Virginia State, even more so after his famous 1895 speech at Atlanta Cotton States Exposition.
He died on November 14, 1915, but his influence extended far beyond the things he founded. He garnered support from philanthropists and political leaders to help poor communities like his own hometown in West Virginia, and in this, he built his legacy of practical civil rights progress in the face of adversity.
Katherine Johnson was born August 26, 1918, in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She was a NASA mathematician who calculated and analyzed many flight paths of spacecrafts during the time she worked with the U.S. space program. She was very intelligent and started high school when she was just 10 years old, and then she graduated college with the highest honors from West Virginia State College when she was 18. In 1939, she was selected to be one of the first 3 African American students to be enrolled in a graduate program at West Virginia University. She married James Gobble, who died in 1956. Then 3 years later, she married James Johnson. Katherine Johnson started working at a National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, West Area Computing Unit, a group of African American women who did math calculations for the programs and engineers in 1953. In 1960, she co-authored a paper for calculations for placing a spacecraft into orbit. This was the first time a woman had received credit as an author of a research report. She also helped NASA's Mercury program in 1961 to 1963. She calculated the path for Freedom 7, which was the ship that put the first U.S. astronaut into space. Another project Johnson helped on was Apollo 11 mission of 1969. That sent 3 men to the moon. She helped calculate where the rocket would land. She received many awards during her career, including Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Hidden Figures movie, The American Dream, and The Untold Story of Black Women Mathematicians Who Helped Win the Space Race was a movie based off Katherine Johnson's life and the other women she worked with. Katherine Johnson had many great accomplishments during her career and helped pave the way for future African American women.
Harold Everett Hale Greer grew up in Huntington, West Virginia, where he shined on and off the court. He attended Douglas High School and is now known around the world. Greer was known for basketball, but accomplished much more. The 6' 2" guard became a star. Greer left a mark on the history of African Americans and began to break a barrier in not only sports but segregation as a whole. In 1958, at Marshall University, Greer became the first African American in West Virginia to play for a major college. He was one of the first to break the color barrier at a traditionally white college.
During his 3-year college career, Greer scored 1,377 points, averaged 19.4 points per game, and set the Marshall record for the field goals. He was the first African American to be recruited and receive a scholarship. Greer was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 1982. He is a 10-time NBA All-Star and was named to be the All-NBA second team 7 times. 16th Street, which runs by Marshall Campus in Huntington, West Virginia, was renamed Hal Greer Boulevard. After Greer sadly retired from basketball, he worked in business and real estate and later died in Arizona at age 81. He did not only leave his mark on African American history, but also in sports.
Thanks, y'all, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to West Virginia History with Mrs. B on both Facebook and YouTube.